Hey? I want to cover a couple of rules and regulations on how we're going to play the Herbalife game as we go forward so that we keep the integrity to the company and so on. And it's particularly important that this group understands it. For some of you, it'll seem a little mundane, but you know what? It's real interesting. Even when I meet with the president's team and go over some of this stuff, they still got questions on some of these particular rules and stuff. It's very important that you guys understand some of the rules that glue the company together, because you're the ones that are going to have to teach it. You're the ones that are going to have to communicate it. You're the ones that are going to have to get it to someone else who's going to speak it in another language. And you've got to be able to operate these businesses far beyond what I'm doing from the top, okay? Anybody that's not a resident, that's outside of a country that's legally open, they can sign a distributor application, but they must have a residence in a country in which we're open, okay? So if some guy from India wants to sign up, can they sign up? Yes. Where do they have to have an address? In any one of 24 countries in which we're open, okay? Now, just because this person has an address, can they now do any business in India? No, period. Can a person in India sign up an application in France and do business in America? Yes. Can he sign up on an app in the United States and do business in Germany? Yes. Okay? So that's the way the applications work. This international game, okay, that we're playing changes from time to time. Okay? And you guys are just going to have to get used to the changes, all right? Why does Herbalife change the rules from time to time? There's only one reason why we change the rules. Different laws, different things that hit us, different situations that change from time to time. We have to make certain that the company is legally protected. We're not kidding around about this Philippines thing. We just got our products approved there. We're just in the process of opening the company up and so on. This means you cannot go over there and do business until the company says open, okay? Because what will end up happening is someone goes over there, does something illegal, does some kind of advertising that knocks us out of the ball game, does something wrong with the product, does something wrong with the marketing structure, and all of a sudden we're almost at the approval date, and bang, we're another year away from opening. We're just at the edge of opening that country up. If you hear about someone doing some stuff, okay, let's do yourself a favor. Let's find out if it's true, okay, not rumor, not jealousy, not the fact that someone's check's bigger than yours, not the fact that, oh my goodness, you know, they got to the president's team in 9 months and they must be doing something wrong, so, you know, this and that and the other thing, bonus this, bonus that. You know, there's so much money around here, a lot of people are getting greedy, okay, and jealous about some of the stuff that's happening in the company, okay? But if you find out if it's something accurate, okay, here's what I'd like you to do with it. Please just communicate it with the company and we'll take care of it. We got to have time to get our company better than it is, bigger than it is, the systems better than they are, to sparkle so that when we're ready for this worldwide movement, the company looks the same everywhere, it's got a good image everywhere, and we can take this company over the next 5 years and we can make it sparkle so that we're proud of it, our people are proud of it, our children are proud of it, the governments are proud of it, we got no legal problems, okay, and we make the thing shine. That's what we need to do. What is a country allowed to sell when it's legally open? Their product. Only what's in their country and that's legal to sell, okay? Remember something, that we have financial responsibilities to each one of these governments. As we open up, there has to be a formal company there, and the products that are sold within that country, the government expects us to pay taxes on. It's part of being a good corporate citizen. So if you guys or your guys want to end up getting bad articles, bad press, problems with the government, and people sneaking around getting people locked up in jail, just go ahead and import some illegal products from the illegal countries and keep selling them and stuff like that. And I know sometimes it's difficult. We have to make certain that we keep within the laws of the land in which we're doing business. There is no company that's going on a worldwide basis the way that we are and allowing their distributors to earn cash on every one of those companies on a worldwide basis. There is nobody else doing that. And we need to understand that there's some difficulties with that, there's some problems with that, And also, the bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. What about, you know, if I'm somebody and I just bring in a little bit of stuff into India for personal use? Okay? The answer is no. Right? And the reason the answer is no is because there's so many people that we've got, okay, out of the 1 million people that we got in Herbalife, if all of them said, by the way, you can just have a little bit for personal use, well, let me clue you in what's going in across the border. 75,000 truckloads full of personal use, okay? And pretty soon you got the same problem. A problem that's a product that's illegally labeled, illegally formulated, illegally this, illegally that, and pretty soon there's newspaper articles about Herbalife's doing business in India illegally. It's a scam, it's a bad deal, and we got to go in and spend the majority of our time cleaning it up, not building it. You can't say the name of the company in an advertisement. You can't. Now, this is America, okay? Canada, you know, you got your own rules and stuff like that. Mexico, you guys know you got your own rules. South America, you guys know you got your own rules. This is America only, where we're safe, okay? Everything's okay, no problems, okay? Name of the product, in Australia, you guys know what you got to do, okay? This is for America, all right? No name of the products, no name of the company, no misleading claims on the products, no time frame on how many pounds in how many days, and no misleading deals on the income. Change of sponsorship through just individuals, change of sponsorship through husband and wives, change of sponsorship through partnerships, and every which way you can finagle your way out of trying to cheat your sponsor out of cash. We need to talk about it so you guys are clear about it, so that you understand that you have got rules that you've got to play with, and that the company is going to protect all of you at all times, okay? No matter what. I don't care who the distributor is, how big they are, okay? We're going to protect you guys from yourselves whether you like it or not. If it's a dual application, when will we catch it? Right away, okay? Because it's all numbered and so on. Okay? But if it's not a dual application, and Mr. Businessman, with all his smart knowledge, and Mr. President's team member, with all their genius of the tricks, okay, are signing up all these different people in these different organizations through the different children, through the different partnerships, through the different thises and thatses of the world, and so on. And now they're down here building, okay? During this process, Herbalife might not find out, to be perfectly honest with you, because it's not the same application. We're not seeing the problem and so on, and there's a problem that starts going on. Here's what happens every single time, okay? A gets a mailer, and she ends up at the extravaganza. She's sitting out there in the audience, still a supervisor, okay? And she can't believe it that B is up here with the girlfriend standing on stage getting their president's team pin. And she says, I can't believe it. If that person's on the president's team, my check should be 10 grand a month. I wonder what the deal is. She ends up calling the home office. What is the home office going to do? A, we're going to investigate. Now, the investigation may take some time because we're going to investigate no matter how tricky this person is. We'll go to every length that we can, from calling every single person that was ever signed up to investigating the bank accounts, how the checks were cashed, their tax returns, you name it, we're going to find out about it. And what are we going to do? No matter when it is, no matter what the time frame, no matter how long ago it was, all the volume gets switched back over to A, who was supposed to have earned money on it, A1, who was supposed to have earned money on it, A2, who was supposed to have earned money on it, and in some cases, A3, who was supposed to have earned money on it, including A number 50, who might have been getting a slip down 2% or 6% bonus on it, and we will not only move the volume back, we'll move the positions back, and we'll move the money back. If you get into a problem on a change of sponsorship, here's what you do. Give it to the company, bug us every 30 days, and go get another 25 supervisors. Protect yourselves. Remember I told you here that there was a couple things yesterday that you had to do when you're making money, okay? Number one, you've got to fight to make the money that you make. Number two, you got to fight to keep the money that you get. Okay? And that's part of this deal over here, because when you got one of these new countries that open up in like a Spanish language or something like that, it's easy for these guys to be signing different applications. Here's one thing you can always count on Herbalife for is we'll do the right thing by you guys. Okay? Every single thing is not always black and white. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of circumstances, a lot of things that can happen, but we do the right thing. This company has never made its decisions on the cash that it makes. It has always made its decisions on what's best for the people. Remember, you guys are building your own Herbalife dynasties on top of what I'm building also. Okay? And my reputation is no different than your reputation. Okay? Your group listens to you based on who you are, and what you've done in the past. Okay? And so if you want to look at how they're following you, look at what you're doing. So if it was me, leadership always says, do what's best for the group, not what's best for my pocketbook. The partnership's no different than the boyfriend-girlfriend deal or the this or that or the other thing, all that kind of stuff. See, the thing that you got to realize is that a contract to me and someone who's working the distributorship who's not even on the distributorship is still an implied contract. Sign up on a contract. You're locked there. Okay? You're stuck in that contract with that group, okay, for all the terms of the contract, all right, no matter what, unless the 3 upline earning supervisors, okay, release that person, because who has got the rights to that downline? The people who are in that line that are earning income off of it. What do you guys do, okay, what do you guys do if you're afraid, okay, about a meeting, okay, and a person, and you think they're going to get robbed? What do you guys do? Okay? Make certain that they're on your application first. If that means you got to get them a German application, get them a German application. If that means you're so scared that you got to buy an Australian distributor kit and put in the mail an Australian distributor application, okay, and the guy signs up on the Australian distributor application and later on applies for a change of address, is that what I would do? I'd do everything I could to, number one, fight for the money that I get and protect the money that I get. That's what I would be doing. What needs to happen at an Herbalife business meeting is Herbalife. What needs to be talked about are our products. What needs to be talked about is our philosophy. What needs to be talked about is our business opportunity, okay? Anything other than that is going in the wrong direction, okay? We don't discriminate against anybody. The second thing that you've got to realize, it's bad and stupid business to reject anybody for anything, okay? Regardless of their sex, regardless of their religion, regardless of their color of skin, regardless of their background, regardless of what religion they're involved in, and regardless of what the situation is, okay? Because if you build your business that way, you're going in a serious wrong direction. This also goes for multi-levels, okay? We say that you as an individual have the right to involve your first line in another business since that's your business. Everybody got that? Okay? We don't like it, but that's the situation. But if you try to involve your second line, you're not allowed to go and talk to your second line. Why? Because maybe you get paid on that, but you didn't develop that business. Your first line did. So if you go start attacking your second line to try to get them involved in something else, okay, or you're now invading the privacy of the person who sponsored them. We say you can't do that, all right? If you go raid anybody else's organization and start getting them into the thing, okay? There's a couple of things that happen. Number one, you can't participate in production bonuses. And number two, when we find out about it, okay, and you guys let us in on the know on it, there's most of the time, okay, if the organization's getting real hurt, we'll stop the checks, okay, even though it may not be able to be done in some areas, okay? You guys get it to us. We feel serious about it. We'll hold up the money and try to slow up the process, okay, of these guys raiding your organization. Smoking in these deals and stuff like that, okay? You guys got to start remembering who and what you are. Jim Rohn said something at the end of the deal here that was very important. Sometimes you guys don't realize what impact you have on the people that you're around because you've been living with yourself day to day to day to day, and you're becoming more. People are seeing you different. People are respecting you different, and sometimes you don't even realize yourself who and what you are have an impact on a lot of people that you're around, okay? So you guys have to be very mindful, okay, of what you're doing. How you look, how you dress, how you act, what you do in front of people that you're around. This includes doing stuff that's not necessarily great looking for our business. Let's start acting like millionaires. Let's start thinking like millionaires. Let's start being millionaires before we get there and stuff like that. That's what I had to do, okay? I had to start talking about millions before there was millions. I had to start talking about big checks before there was big checks. I had to start talking about big business before there was big business, okay? Let's start being more than what we are, and at the same time, let's be mindful of what we are. There's a couple of ways to recruit that I just want to remind you of here. No question, one way is first-line recruiting. But there's also what's called secondary recruiting. So my goal always was, after I went through my circle of influence, doing every single thing I could to try to first-line recruit, which meant I was doing everything, by the way. And for those of you that don't do everything, you should at least know everything as leaders so that you can pass out the menu to everybody. What do I mean by that? Some of you, I mean, if you don't ever learn this, fine. Can you get rich without what I'm telling you? Yes. Can you get richer with what I'm going to tell you? No question about it. Some of you are good at only handing out flyers. That's what you are good at. Some of you are good at only doing flyers to get first-line recruiting going on. Some of you are good at only getting people in front of the HBN network, and that's what's making it happen for you. Some of you are good at just getting people one-on-one. You do presentations one-on-one, okay? And that's what gets you first-line recruiting. Some of you are good at doing this mailing program that you got going on, okay? This direct mail response deal that some of you are doing out here in the audience. And that's what's making it score for you, okay? There's a lot of different things. Some of you only recruit off your buttons. But I'll tell you what you're going to make a big mistake at as leaders if you don't know. Knowing the menu. See, if you only continually be good at flyers, and that's all you ever tell anybody about, flyers, 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 guess what? Out of 10 people, there's going to be 7 of them that don't like flyers, that join your companies. And there's going to be, because they're all going to be different types. Some are going to like flyers, some are going to like ads, some are going to like one-on-one, some of them are going to like the buttons, some are going to like watching the television set, some of them are going to like doing one-on-ones or using the direct mailing program. They're all going to like doing different things. And unless you know the menu, your advantages go way down on how you can attract people to the company. So make sure that you, even if you're not using the menu, that you know how to tell somebody about the menu. See, it doesn't make any difference if you don't use the menu. See, there's lots of stuff, myself personally, I wouldn't do. I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do this direct mail program that some of you are doing. I couldn't do it. Me personally. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that I wouldn't do it. Okay? You know, me personally, I love the flyers. Me personally, I love the advertisements. Advertisements is how I built my business, okay? Talking first line here right at the moment. That's what I love to do. But that's not the only thing I teach. Because if I did, guess what some people would have not done? Ads and flyers. Because some of my people didn't have the money to do the ads. Some of them were scared to answer the telephones. But they would put on their button because it was already in their kit and paid for, and they actually got to the president's team through the button retailing the product, and they mostly retailed the product and then turned them into distributors and got to the top, and that's how they got to the top. So make sure, as leaders, when you're doing your training classes, that you know enough about the menu so that you can attract every kind of person that there is, so that you can put them all on stage so that they can all tell the results of the different parts of the menu, so that somebody in the audience says, I like that. If that guy can do it, I can do it. That's a secret. Now see, make sure that you get that one, because if you don't get the menu, it's not that you can't get rich, it just means that you're not going to get rich as quick. Why has Mark Hughes been able to become so incredibly wealthy? Because I am so incredibly free and loose oriented. I'm not fixed to anything. It doesn't make any difference to me as long as it's ethical, as long as it's not against the law, as long as it's not tricking somebody, as long as it's got to do with using the products. Wearing something means anything. A button, a cap, a flyer, a sign, it doesn't make any difference. It's the concept. And as long as you're talking to me means anything that's talking. Talking means talking. So, but if you get fixed to something, I've heard people say to me, well, listen, bad deal about this direct mail program and stuff like that. Hey, there's nothing wrong with a mailing program, okay? There's nothing wrong with it, okay? There's nothing wrong with this particular method of operation or that method of operation or this method of operation. Here's the only problem that there ever is with any particular method of operation, is if you start doing something other than what's in the philosophy. For instance, like trying to change the marketing concept. In other words, you add something to the marketing plan or add something extra to the concept that tries to make you some little extra money someplace, somehow, somewhere. Like, for instance, maybe books and tapes, okay? And you start making that one of the issues of your program, and you make that one of the big deals instead of using the products, wearing the button, and talking to people. Or making money on the meetings, or making money any other way. See, as long as you keep it flexible and it stays within the concept, that's important, because then you're able to get anybody. And that means when I say talk about this philosophy, I'm very serious about it, okay? Because anything that you do outside of the norm, okay, other than using, wearing, and talking, you're going to make a serious mistake. Making anything other than the issue of those three things, and you're going to make a mistake, okay? You could say use, wear, talk, and then religion. I don't care what your religious beliefs are, okay? Have every kind of religious belief you want to. But if you start making that part of your pitch, okay, and you start making that part of your program, guess who you just didn't get? We have one mission here in Herbalife, if you haven't recognized it. It is making a better world for people to live in, taking better nutrition to the world, okay? That is our mission statement, okay? Everybody's got the freedom of believing in everything that they want, okay? But it's not use the products, wear the button, talk to people, and see the Pope, okay? Because when it's use the products, wear the button, talk to people, see the Pope, guess who you're not going to get? The Jewish community. You see, the Arabics that are going to be involved in the company, okay? Any kind of person that you want to talk about. It's freedom of your choice to do with whatever your life that you want it to be. But if you really want to affect the world, you got to be loose about it and not put out your other hang-ups on other people. Now here's another little thing. If you guys want to inspire your group, and seriously inspire them, because there is a little trick to inspiring your group. Everybody says, well, is it the incredible motivation talks that you get and stuff like that? Sure, that can be inspiring, but if what you're saying is not matching what's going on, then you're not very inspiring. All the way to the way your waistline looks, all the way to the way your face looks, to what's happening around your life. Why was Mark Hughes inspiring? Because one, my pitch. But pretty soon, everything that I was pitching, I started doing. When I first got Herbalife started, all I had was a white jacket and a nice little pair of black pants and a red tie. And I felt it was so cool, that white jacket, those black little pants and that red tie. Oh, plus I had, in my little office, I had white carpeting. I don't know why I thought white carpeting was cool, because about 3 weeks into the program, everybody had stepped on it so much, the office really looked ugly, okay? But I had this beautiful, and by the way, for the very first time, about 6 months ago, after 16 years, I bought a white jacket again with some black pants. But I'll tell you one thing I didn't get was a red tie, because I don't want to ever remember what that outfit was like again. And I kept wearing that outfit and wearing that outfit, and I finally got, and I was pitching, and I finally got myself a black velvet coat. I'll never forget getting that black velvet coat, and everybody in Herbalife all of a sudden had a black velvet coat. It was amazing. Doug was getting one, Dennis was getting one, and everybody's getting a black velvet coat all of a sudden, just because I had changed my clothes. And I never forget, I drove up in my brand new Eldorado, and all of a sudden everybody wanted brand new Cadillacs. See, I didn't just tell my group to go, go, go. I kept going myself. I always outproduced them at the meetings. I always brought more people to the meetings than they did. I always outsold more retail than they did. I was outdoing them in everything. Why? Because through example is how you're inspiring. If you want to just go out there and pitch, go ahead. But if you pitch and you start making things reality, you'll become inspiring. That is inspiring. What has inspired so many people around me? Mark Hughes keeps going. Then it was my very first condo. No, none of my guys had ever seen a beautiful condo. I had that little rinky-dink condo on the beach and stuff like that. But to me, it was like a giant mansion. That thing was big enough. I mean, we could fit that in my wife's bathroom today, okay? But to me, it was like the biggest mansion that had ever been around, okay? And pretty soon I had my first little condo, and I was very good at finagling everything, trust me. I mean, I was a master at making myself look better than I really was for very little money. And when I got that first condo, pretty soon my people started getting condos. And when I got my first house, my people started getting some of their first houses. When I got my very first Rolls Royce, some of my people started getting fancy cars. When I got my first mansion, some of my people now got mansions, okay? So if you want to be inspiring, keep working on yourself and keep improving yourself. You heard it all said by every single person that was up here, okay? That you don't just tell your group, go. So it starts all the way down at the bottom. Alan was brilliant at talking to you about promotion. If you want to promote anything, guess what you do first? You don't just promote it. First you qualify for the promotion yourself, and then you promote it. Because if you do it yourself, it's going to be more attractive to your people. So you want lots of people to go on vacation. If you guys want to be on vacation, first get on vacation. You want lots of people to be on vacation? Qualify for vacation, and then show them the vacation. And pretty soon, a lot of your people will be on vacation. And pretty soon, all of those people will show their people about vacation. And pretty soon, that's how your check gets going bigger and bigger and bigger. So if you want things to get better, keep improving yourself. And that means for all you guys. That means for all of you guys. You want to get bigger? You got to become bigger yourself. So you don't just go group go, go group go. You keep going yourself, and let me tell you, it will go. How do you keep inspired? I can't remember who said it in the meeting and stuff like that. It was Alan Lorenz, okay? He says, the way I keep inspired is from the new stories. New stories meaning he's getting new retail. Stories meaning he's getting new distributors.
Stories meaning he's getting new supervisors. When that's happening to him, he keeps inspired. But if you just keep trying to squeeze your organization into $1 million without keeping inspired yourself by the own amount of retail you do, the own amount of recruiting you do, the own amount of supervisors you're breaking, then you're trying to squeeze your organization into $1 million by telling them, you guys do it, I don't got to do it. Can you make a little bit of money that way? Yes. Can you even make a lot of money that way? Yes. It's even worse when you're making a lot of money that way, and then all of a sudden you go on no-go mode. And you just tell your group, go, you gotta go, you gotta go. And in the beginning, you went yourself. And then pretty soon all you're doing to your group is saying, go, 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 and that makes you more money. Go, 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 and that makes you more money. And pretty soon for the next couple of years, that's all you're doing is saying, go, 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 go. And pretty soon you start getting dissatisfied. And pretty soon you start saying, I wonder why my check's not going up, and I wonder why it's not growing, because you can only get so much out of your group. Your group at some point is going to kind of get to where they want to be. And go, 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 you can't squeeze any more out of it. So if you want to get some more out of it, you got to become more yourself. And that means constant retailing, constant recruiting, constant breaking supervisors. Because here's another thing you got to do every year. Write this in your notes. Replenish that you lose. You are going to lose a certain amount of people each year. You are. No matter how successful you are, no matter how big your check's getting, no matter how big it's getting, every year you start over at the beginning, and you've got to replenish a certain amount of people that you lost to stay even. And then if you want it to get bigger, you've got to do more than that the following year just to make it become more. So don't get into a mode here of only go, go, go to your group. What you do is go, go, go on yourself. And let me tell you something, you'll have a business. I can't wait till I can get someone up on the stage and they're the first person in Herbalife that says, I've got a business that does $1 billion a year. Can't wait. I can't wait. Someone's going to be able to say that deal. Someone's going to say, Mark Hughes is pitching $1 billion. Now I'm pitching a $5 billion. There is going to be a distributor up here someday that says, my organization did $1 billion last year. Unbelievable. There's some people thinking about it. There are a couple of people around here that do think about that. In order for Herbalife to become what it needs to become, and in order for it to be the kind of business we all want it to become, we have to all be in business together. You can build your businesses a couple of ways. And you can make money some different ways in Herbalife, but at some point, building it wrong is going to catch up with you. And the only thing that's going to happen is that because of the way that Herbalife is, and because there's more good than there ever is the bad, there's only one thing that ends up happening. It catches up to you and it forces you out the door. It's the only thing that can possibly happen. And so what I mean by that is I know some of you are from some other countries, and then you're in some countries that are in a pretty fast go mode right at the moment. And sometimes you need to start thinking a little bit differently. And here's the way I'd like you to think. Every time you're making a decision, every time you're going to do something in your business, I'd like you to think, is this what Mark Hughes would be doing? Is that what Mark would do? Is that what he would do? There's some things that happen, like for instance in France, okay? that goes outside the business that helped mess up the business in France. France was on a major go, go, go mode. And guess what a lot of the guys over there were doing? They figured out that it would be a lot faster to get their organizations to the 246, that if everybody just sold the downline product at 50%. All of it. No retail, no wholesale, no nothing. Everybody gets it at 50% off on the first, second, third level, all the way from the time you get the guy in to the people they get in, to the people they get in. Everybody's getting it at 50% because they figured we do all this incredible stuff for Herbalife twice as fast. And guess what happened? Right down the tubes. Because guess what happened to some of the new people as this major roller coaster was going on? Some people didn't make any royalties fast enough. Some people didn't make any wholesale fast enough. And by thinking that they were doing something incredible for their organizations, all of a sudden they had some people that weren't making the royalties fast enough, that weren't making the wholesale fast enough, and all of that stuff crashed and burned for them because they got outside of doing what the normal is. They started taking it into the newspapers and selling it for 50% off. Guess what that did to France? It started messing up the entire, not only organization for them, but it messed up the organization for all of you. And we're in business together. When you do something, you don't just do it to yourself. You do it to yourself and the person sitting next to you. And you not only do it to yourself and the person sitting next to you, but you do it to your uplines and you do it to your downlines. And by golly, you need to not steal from anybody. Your downlines, your uplines, or anybody else in the room. See, that's something you need to know about Herbalife. Because you know what? There's a lot of other companies out there that they'd say, you know what? So what, it hurt a few people. Look at all the business we're getting in. I don't care if it's the loneliest little housewife that got into the company to the top president's team member in this organization. And we have gotten rid of some of the top people in our company in the past. And it don't make no difference. Principles are principles. And this company is going to sparkle, and it's going to shine, and we're going to be respectable, and we're going to do it the Herbalife way. And so when you think about these things, I want you to think about, would Mark Hughes be making this decision? Because let me tell you something, the decisions you're going to make are not only going to be the Mark Hughes consequences, number one, but number two, doing it the Mark Hughes way for year after year after year after year. And that's what you want, gang. It may be a little more difficult in the beginning. It may take you a little longer to get to where you want to go, but let me tell you something. In the end, you will win. You will win. Just as important, we will win. And that's got to do with all the integrity of the company. That means out-of-line buying, okay? Where someone comes to you and they want to buy it from you because it's a little bit easier. There's a lot of tendency sometimes to want to go ahead and sell it to the person, okay? Maybe their supervisor dropped out and stuff like that, and they come to you and they're begging you, geez, I'd like to buy some of your inventory. Remember, when you're selling it to that person, guess who you're stealing money from? Their first upline, their second upline, and their third line, and everybody upline that's in the 246 check. Stealing is what it's called. Stealing. I want you to think about that. And we're not going to allow for stealing. Not going to allow it. See, these rules and regulations that we've got in our company, in our plan, are to protect every single person in this room, no matter who you are. To the lowest little housewife in the company, to the auto mechanic that just gets started, that's got grease stains all over his cans, to the top person in the company with his Brooks Brothers suit. We don't care. Ethics are ethics. And we got to not only protect us, okay, but you got to protect everybody in the room, because as a unit, we can become 5 billion. As a unit, we can get to 10 billion. As a unit, we can get to 15 billion. And we'll be the kind of companies that we want our children to respect and their children to respect. So when you move and become a leader in the company, you got to move as a leader with integrity in all parts of the plan, even if it's a little bit slower, because the integrity of what we're doing in Herbalife has not only paid off now, but what it's going to pay off for us in the years to become is going to be nothing short of mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Trust me, they've been going on for 16 years, and this industry is only becoming more popular every single year. See, the multi-level industry is just becoming a way of doing business. In the future, it's going to become the way of doing business, not only here, but around the globe. It's going to be amazing as we affect the globe. Do you realize that Herbalife's only in just a very small section of the globe at this moment? We're only in a population right now of about 1,400,000,000 people. There's still almost 4 billion people that we're not even involved with yet in other countries. And when we get to those 4 billion and these other companies crash and burn, guess who's going to be standing there as the company that's got the integrity, the company that's got honesty, the company that our children want to be involved with? Guess who's going to cash in on it? Us.